talk about Sophie Cunningham making some comments about WNBA fans, what she believes fans may not have right about WNBA players, and how a lot of fans feel about, I would assume, hard plays, aggressive plays. I'm not quite sure.
The WNBA believed it had secured its future, convinced its brightest star was untouchable and immune to external pressures. But then, reality struck hard. Financial projections emerged from a basketball legend that shattered all illusions, revealing that Caitlin Clark's departure isn't merely speculation, it's an economic certainty written in cold, hard numbers. An unavoidable truth has crystallized, and the warning signs are impossible to ignore. This isn't about team loyalty or passion for the game anymore. We're witnessing astronomical sums of money that will fundamentally transform the entire landscape of women's basketball. And one superstar's destiny now clearly lies beyond the WNBA's reach. Sophie Cunningham's recent polarizing statements have only intensified the chaos, highlighting the turbulent and unstable waters the league must navigate, while adding explosive fuel to an already volatile situation that threatens to send key players racing toward the exits.
Last year had volunteered to join the Fever as Caitlin Clark's enforcer. And that's Angel McCoughtry. She played in the league forever. She's 39 years old now. And really good player. I mean, a 6-time All-Star, 2-time scoring champ. Averaged 18.6 points a game in her career. And she makes some comments about Project B that's very interesting. And I think she's saying the quiet part out loud, that some players may forego the
A seismic disruption is emerging from an enigmatic new force called Project B, positioned to completely overturn the established order of women's professional basketball. This isn't just another league entering the market. It represents an economic earthquake of unprecedented magnitude, promising compensation packages that dwarf anything the WNBA has ever dreamed of offering. Gone are the days of incremental salary bumps and drawn-out contract negotiations. Project B is taking massive swings, aggressively pursuing the sport's elite talent with wealth that seems almost incomprehensible. The emergence of this new entity threatens to trigger a talent exodus of catastrophic proportions, a mass migration of players desperately seeking the kind of life-altering financial security they've never had access to before, beginning with the league's most marketable and valuable assets.
WNBA, not unrivaled, the W, in order to play in this new league. She also squashes the myth about, players have talked about, I want to be able to stay in the States. I don't want to go overseas, blah, blah, blah. She says that's kind of BS. That sounds like a negotiating tactic is what it is. So, Sophie Cunningham, let's check this out.
I'm not just speaking for myself. I think I'm speaking on behalf of probably the whole league, that when people see us competing and trying to fight to do anything it takes to win, because this is a hard league.
Former WNBA All-Star and authentic legend Angel McCoughtry didn't merely hint at the impending crisis. She articulated the brutal economic realities with devastating clarity and precision. Her revelations strike a crushing blow to the WNBA's carefully crafted narrative, exposing the harsh financial truths that players must confront when deciding where to take their talents. McCoughtry, who actually volunteered to serve as Caitlin Clark's enforcer last season, speaks with the authority of lived experience, having witnessed the league's financial constraints and limitations firsthand throughout her distinguished career. She's pulling back the curtain with unflinching honesty, revealing the enormous chasm between current compensation structures and the extraordinary financial future now being dangled tantalizingly before these world-class athletes.
Sophie Cunningham, let's check this out.
I'm not just speaking for myself. I think I'm speaking on behalf of probably the whole league, that when people see us competing and trying to fight to do anything it takes to win, because this is a hard league, that they automatically think that's what you're like off the court. People need to get to know us players more, and I think if they do, they fall in love with us. And so not judging the competitive side of us compared to our off court.
Just wondering, do fans do that? Because I don't. I never one time have I seen somebody's play and been like, oh, they must be real nasty off the court. They must be.
The contrast in earning potential is absolutely staggering and demands attention. Consider the WNBA's maximum contract, a paltry $90,000 for even top-tier superstars, a figure that barely registers as professional compensation in the world of elite sports. Now, contrast that shocking reality with Project Bling's proposed minimum salary of $2 million. This isn't merely a modest increase or salary adjustment, it represents an astronomical quantum leap, an almost 22-fold multiplication in earnings for even the lowest paid players on the roster. This single devastating statistic exposes the WNBA's complete inability to compete financially, making any appeals to loyalty appear not just unrealistic, but financially irresponsible and potentially career-damaging for athletes with limited earning windows.
On what else does the player got going on off the court? Do they take basketball seriously, or do they want to be a celebrity influencer? Well, you know what I'm talking about, right? So, I thought that was interesting and that you guys would want to see that. Let's go over here. This is the Good Follow podcast. Hell, go subscribe. It looks like it's relatively new. The lady on the left is Angel McCoughtry. Like I said, we're talking about a real force in the league. 5-time All-Star, 2 times.
Project B's revolutionary offer extends far beyond base salaries into unprecedented territory. They're sweetening the proposition with something virtually unheard of in established professional leagues: equity ownership. Players aren't simply collecting paychecks and going home. They're receiving actual ownership stakes in the organization, a genuine piece of a league that could exponentially explode in market value. This visionary approach fundamentally transforms athletes from mere employees into invested stakeholders, strategically aligning their long-term financial destinies directly with the league's growth trajectory and success. It's an utterly irresistible proposition for players desperately seeking to build generational wealth that extends far beyond anything traditional contracts in the WNBA could ever possibly offer.
And how that's going to, she gives you a perspective of how players are going to look at this money, and you can tell from her reaction, it's like, whoa, that's a whole different level of cash we're talking about.
The max was $90,000.
I mean, even just say, like, you haven't been playing the league for what, 1-2 years or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's just even talk now. You're a current.
Okay, I'm a current player.
These players are making max $250.
Now I'm making $250, then $90. And let's see, $5 million, $2 million. I mean, guys, you do the math. Who's going to turn that down? Then I have a chance to have equity in this league.
McCray didn't mince words or soften her message, boldly asking the question burning in everyone's mind: if you're being offered $5 million, why would you subject your body to the grueling punishment of playing in the WNBA? This isn't empty rhetoric or dramatic exaggeration. It represents a fundamental existential challenge to the WNBA's entire value proposition and reason for being. Why endure the relentless schedule demands, accumulating physical toll, chronic injuries, and comparatively meager compensation when an alternative pathway offers such immense financial security and stability? Her brutally honest assessment forces a complete reevaluation of priorities for every single WNBA player, especially those blessed with the market-moving star power to command premium dollars.
Then $90. And let's see, $5 million, $2 million. I mean, guys, you do the math. Who's going to turn that down? Then I have a chance to have equity in this league, and this league could possibly grow. I mean, Project B, aka Project B, let's get it.
Yeah.
You know,
Feels like common sense almost.
it feels like it is common sense. I mean, honestly, I see a lot of girls. If you're going to get paid $5 million, why put your body through playing in the WNBA? Is that what? That's what I see coming.
Well, here's another aspect of this too. I thought the whole trend and point of some of these new leagues popping up was that the trend was going, players wanted to stay home in the U.S. And so that's an advantage that, like,
Adding devastating insult to injury, McCoughtry completely demolishes the long-perpetuated myth that WNBA players have a genuine preference to remain in the United States. For years, the narrative has been carefully spun that players prioritize staying close to home, making domestic leagues like Unrivaled supposedly attractive. But McCoughtry calls this narrative exactly what it is: complete fabrication. This manufactured preference, she explains with cutting clarity, is largely just a negotiating tactic, a convenient story that deliberately overlooks players' actual desire for truly life-changing, transformational money. The unvarnished truth is that players will travel anywhere on the planet, and they will go wherever necessary for the right financial compensation.
You're fixing to see a lot of surprising names. I have a feeling sign up for this league because they think the W is going to 850 or 1 million. Okay, well, what do you think they would pay Asia Wilson? 8 million, 10 million a year, so 8 to 10 times more than they're paying now. Caitlin Clark, 15 million, 20 million, 25 million. I mean, I don't know. People seem to get offended when I bring that. Why?
McCoughtry draws from deeply personal experiences, vividly recounting her most memorable adventures overseas in exotic locations like Istanbul, Turkey. She paints an enticing picture of vibrant cosmopolitan life, extraordinary cuisine, immersive, rich culture, and legendary celebrations that stretched until 7 in the morning on off days, followed by leisurely breakfasts. This isn't portrayed as sacrifice or hardship. It's presented as a genuine lifestyle upgrade and enhancement. The possibility of playing professional basketball across Europe, throughout Asia, or even in Africa, seamlessly combining international travel with elite-level competition and massive compensation, is framed not as a burden to endure, but as living the dream, completely reframing how we should view the overseas playing option. This powerful revelation from a deeply respected WNBA veteran systematically demolishes the carefully constructed narrative promoted by current players and league officials. The notion that players genuinely want to stay home purely for geographical reasons is thoroughly exposed as a convenient fallacy designed to manipulate public perception. The dollar amount, as McCoughtry powerfully and convincingly demonstrates, fundamentally changes everything about these decisions. It's no longer a question of where you play, it's entirely about how much you get paid to do it. The WNBA's supposed leverage based on geographic preference has completely evaporated and dissolved in the face of Project B's overwhelming financial might. The financial disparity isn't confined to comparisons between the WNBA and Project B. It also completely eclipses newer domestic alternatives like Unrivaled, which offers players around $250,000. Project B's minimum $2 million salary is effectively 9 times that amount. When even the lowest-paid bench player can command a minimum salary of $2 million, the implications for genuine bona fide superstars become absolutely staggering and mind-bending. The WNBA's entire compensation structure, and indeed its very existence as a viable league, comes into serious question and doubt. Who will actually fill the rosters if every single player, regardless of their star power or marketability, can secure such an incredible financial deal elsewhere? This existential threat promises to systematically hollow out the league from within, leaving it completely devoid of the elite talent and genuine excitement that actually draws fans and generates revenue. A direct pathway to the league's ultimate demise if dramatic changes aren't implemented swiftly. Now let's address the true game-changing superstars and what their departures would mean. If an average role player can command $2 million, what about the titans who actually drive the WNBA's popularity?
McCoughtry speculates that a dominant star like A'ja Wilson could realistically command $8, perhaps even $10 million annually from Project B. This isn't just incrementally more money. It represents a multiplication factor of 8 to 10 times her current WNBA earnings. Such astronomical figures aren't merely enticing financial opportunities, they represent a moral imperative for agents and players to seriously consider. And then there's Caitlin Clark, indisputably the biggest name in women's basketball, a transcendent generational talent whose arrival has single-handedly galvanized and energized the WNBA like never before. McCoughtry's financial projections for Clark are absolutely jaw-dropping. $15 million, $20 million, even $25 million per year. To put Clark's potential Project B earnings into stark, undeniable perspective, consider her massive endorsement deal with Nike. A conservative estimate of $20 million annually from Project B would mean she could earn twice her expected Nike income in just 8 years, in roughly 3 short years of playing basketball. This unprecedented level of financial security earned purely through athletic performance is absolutely irresistible and game-changing. It brutally highlights the WNBA's fundamental structural problem. The league simply cannot provide a comparable financial future for its most valuable and marketable assets, forcing them to seriously consider external options that actually value their contributions appropriately. The stay-in-the-country argument, passionately championed by prominent players like Nafisa Keir and Breanna Stewart for domestic leagues like Unrivaled, is now exposed as nothing more than a smokescreen obscuring deeper issues. McCoughtry's brutally candid remarks confirm what many industry observers have long suspected. This debate isn't actually about geographic preference or staying put. It's entirely about the money and financial compensation. The notion that professional athletes would voluntarily forego millions of dollars to play in the United States when lucrative and genuinely enjoyable overseas opportunities abound is now undeniably revealed as a false narrative and convenient fiction, deliberately designed to mask and deflect from the underlying catastrophic financial issues plaguing the domestic league. Amidst this looming financial catastrophe, yet another controversy adds destructive fuel to the WNBA's mounting problems. Sophie Cunningham's inflammatory and tone-deaf comments about the fan base have sparked outrage. She suggested that fans wrongly and unfairly judge players based solely on their aggressive on-court competitive behavior, failing to see and appreciate their true off-court personality and character. While she argued for greater understanding and empathy, her dismissive tone and implied criticism of the very fan base that sustains the league sparked immediate and significant backlash. This public relations misstep highlights a dangerous underlying disconnect between privileged players and the passionate audience that is absolutely crucial for the league's survival, further destabilizing an already crumbling foundation.
Cunningham's defensive argument implies that fans mistakenly and incorrectly equate competitive on-court aggression and intensity with a player's off-court character and personality. She believes if fans truly took time to know the players personally, they'd inevitably fall in love with them. However, she attempts to draw what she considers a crucial distinction. Dirty, underhanded play is supposedly different and does reflect negatively on character. This attempted nuance is theoretically important, but her initial blanket dismissive statement seriously risked alienating a fan base already struggling and grappling with negative perceptions of the league's culture, adding yet another damaging layer of friction, resentment, and discontent to an already toxic situation. The dangerous confluence of multiple devastating factors, the astronomical financial gravitational pull of Project B, the complete shattering of the stay-home geographic myth, and the intensifying internal strife highlighted by escalating player-fan controversies creates an absolute perfect storm of destruction. We're witnessing an environment where abandoning the WNBA for unprecedented financial riches becomes not just a theoretically viable option, but the overwhelmingly logical and rational choice for any athlete with even basic business sense, especially those blessed with the star power and marketability to demand top-tier compensation. The league finds itself desperately battling catastrophic threats on multiple simultaneous fronts, with its most valuable and irreplaceable assets seemingly destined for other ventures and opportunities. The WNBA now faces an existential threat unlike anything in its entire organizational history. The critical question becomes, can this league actually adapt and evolve, drastically improving player compensation structures and mending its deep internal divisions quickly enough to retain its brightest stars? Or will the irresistible siren song of multi-million-dollar contracts and glamorous global travel opportunities prove far too powerful to resist, inevitably leading to a catastrophic mass exodus that leaves the once promising league as merely a hollow shell of its former self? The imminent departure of transformational players like Caitlin Clark, driven by undeniable financial realities and economic logic, isn't just a theoretical possibility anymore. It feels like an unavoidable reality, confirmed by the devastating numbers, poised to completely rewrite the entire future of women's basketball forever.